So we came back now and, thought we'd jump on here and just share a little bit about the relationship to Grandfather North. This is the process of relating to the elements. So I'll go ahead and put some cedar down here for us. Actually, it's some sage this morning. Monica has a really nice smudge blend here for all of us. Some sage and some lavender, I think you put
Sage and
together.
lavender, rose hips,
Oh,
fennel,
nice. Wow, all that?
chamomile.
Oh, I didn't know it was all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is a blend here. And if you're interested in a blend, please reach out to us.
Oh, I love doing blends.
And Monica does some pretty amazing blends that we could put together for you. And yeah, we can do it at a pretty reasonable rate, I would imagine, and
Yeah,
make
it's
something
nice to
for
do
you.
that, just for whatever you're feeling that you need it for, because you can specify the herbs, but also for different holidays. There's different traditions that you can use blends for.
So
I
this
really
is got
like
fennel
that.
in it, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can smell something different.
hmm
And rose hips.
Yeah, rose hips
Wow.
and chamomile, lavender, sage.
All right, well, let's put it down
There's
and
one more thing.
see what happens here. So I'll go ahead and pray us in and rest into the space this morning. So give thanks we're here and doing our best to be a part and fulfill our commitment to the community. Oh, this is what we're working with. All right.
The fan?
I know that's okay. This is okay. So, Father, Mother, Creator, God, we thank you for this opportunity to be in this prayer place that was founded before the creation of time. We thank you for the above place, the below place, the inside place, the east, the south, the west, the north, and all the holy ones that are there, the Gan, the Kachina, the Yebuche, the holy angel light beings of this land, the land of the Akmal Atom, and all the lands of the people that are tuning in here on Facebook, tuning into our community and tuning into our podcast. We give thanks to you for being a part of this spiritual community, Creator, and we bless this space here. So beauty above, beauty below, beauty beside, beauty in front, beauty behind, beauty within. I am, we are made beautiful again. Dogate Andrea Yenishe, Adona E Nishinigi E Inde Nishe, Irish Bashachin, Inde Dashache, German Dashanali, Akote Go E Tishli E Portland, Oregon Inisha, Shema E Kathy Lindsay Woye, Shaza E Del Ecker Wole. So I am Andrew Ecker, my mother Kathy Lindsay, my father Dale Ecker, my mother's mother Elva Gallegos, my father's mother Evelyn Beatty, my mother's father Leroy Lindsay, and my father's father Wayne Ecker. I have a daughter Bailey, a son Peyton, a beautiful beloved fiance Monica. I was incarnated into this body in the land of the Multnomah, the Clackamas, the Willamette in Portland, Oregon. Although I reside here in the land of the Akmal Atom, the Peepash, the Maricopa, the Inde people, here in Phoenix, Arizona. And I'm grateful to be here with all my relatives here from the many different walks of life that tune into the Sacred Seven and tune into this ministry of optimal living, relational spirituality, self-identity, and emotional intelligence. So I'll go ahead and hand our turkey feather here over to Monica, and she can introduce herself.
I'm Monica. My mother's name is Catherine. My father, Monty. My mother's mother, Leah. My father's mother, Josephine. My mother's father, Ray. My father's father, Frank. I have 3 children, Caitlin, Brennan, and Tyler, and a belover, Andrew.
A belover.
My belover.
Ah, that's nice. Thank you. Well, we had a really great couple days there. We took off and went up to Sedona, and yeah, it was really awesome.
We did an amazing hike.
Yeah, it was so much fun. We did the Devil's Bridge hike, and we rented a hotel room with a big jacuzzi tub and played in the bubble bath. And yeah, it was really a nice experience for a couple days there. And it was beautiful to be able to share that intimate space with Monica and celebrate her birthday. So yeah, it's her birthday week, and it's a really good time to be able to connect. And with things the way they are with the pandemic and everything, it's challenging to really set aside the time to celebrate the way that we normally do. In our relationship, birthdays have been big experiences.
We usually often have a gathering, which will have somewhere between 50 and 100 people coming through, and drum circle and sound healing, and various artists in the community coming out and participating and offering their offerings, and lots of good food. And it's just really not really set up that way this year. So we did a more private, one-on-one type of thing.
And it was still amazing.
It was beautiful.
Yeah, it was amazing. So this week we're discussing, the space of our relationship to the elements. And I feel like that's a big theme for you as well in your birthday week, because we have spent so much time together in the elements, in nature, in the national forest, and traveling and doing our best to really be in relationship with the animals, with the air, with the water, with the fire, the earth, and how that relates to us in recovery, how that relates to us in, navigating the traumas of our lives. Both me and Monica are suicide survivors, and together have probably about, I would say, 50 years, maybe close to it, of
45 years.
45 years of.
What are you at, 22?
Yeah, I'm at 20, coming up on 23 now. And how many years have you been since your experience with intravenous drugs?
June will be 23 years.
23 years, yeah. So it's almost 45 years, I guess, something like that, of being free from substance abuse and, intravenous drug use. So we have this idea of a practice in our lives that we love to share with you, and how that encourages you in your recovery, whether it be from, substance abuse, drug addiction, work addiction, even the traumas of your childhood. And potentially even the lifestyle of what you're living even now. Some of you are in traumatic experiences, and I think we've all kind of had to go through some process with trauma due to the COVID and also the elections. Oh my gosh, just 2020 has been a year of unraveling trauma. So what is that like to find your relationship with nature, with the elementals? And how do you incorporate that into your practice? So we're going to go through the 5 essential relationships, and also, potentially talk about how time and gravity is incorporated into that process as well. There is the idea within many communities, earth-based communities, of time being, a personification. We can look at Father Time. You can look at the god Kronos, and you can see that throughout history, communities have looked at their relationship with time as a personification, and a relationship is what we really are after. Gravity is relatively new, right? We haven't really had a relationship with gravity for a lot of time, but I do know that in my life, gravity shows up as an elemental. So then we have the air, the water, the fire, the earth, and also spirit, the etherical. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about, how do you get into relationship with the earth? What is a practice that you can incorporate into your sovereignty, your emotional freedom, with living in relationship to the earth? So one of the things that I love to do is I love to go out on a hike and find a mountain, and maybe I'm feeling a little bit out of sorts, and I'll introduce myself to the mountain. I'll just proclaim my sacred 7 to that mountain space. And when I do that, there's a sensation of being present, and also a sensation of the expanse of my consciousness. And that's one way that I incorporate the earth element into my life as a relationship, an extension of myself. Would you like to share something?
Yeah, I'd like to just add, step back like just a little bit to say, I feel like one of the most important things that we can do in changing patterns and behaviors, addiction, habits, so just habits, patterns, behaviors, is to find something else. You don't stop doing something without, in my experience, without giving yourself another path. So you replace the behavior, and then to your point, looking for what it is that it gave you, right? Rather than what it is that the drug or the habit or the behavior took from you, what it is that it gave you, and ways that you can incorporate new practices in that give that back to you, that give you that feeling. So for me, it gave me confidence using drugs. It gave me confidence. I tend to have social anxiety, get really nervous around new people. I moved a lot growing up, several times a year, so I really didn't get comfortable with people because I wasn't very outgoing. So a lot of times that would leave me, friendless. So one of the things that the drugs gave me and the alcohol gave me was my voice. Like I wasn't afraid, I wasn't inhibited. And so looking for ways to find that in other paths. For example, with the elements, with the breathing, that helps me a lot in social situations. If I walk in and I feel overwhelmed in a setting and really nervous and uncomfortable, literally just feeling the earth beneath me and taking a couple breaths and focusing my mind on something peaceful. And I get the same type of, after practice, I get the same type of feeling of comfort and feeling more outgoing than I used to when I would have a drink. So that's one habit that I've shifted into another habit that serves me better.
That's very important. So the relationship with the drugs and alcohol now has transformed into a relationship with the earth and with the air.
Yeah.
And that's important because what Monica is really emphasizing here is the relational value of the substance that you're using in your life that has become uncomfortable or has become dysfunctional in the way that you're utilizing that relationship. So why not think about expanding into your relationship with the elements to fill that void that's present when you remove the behaviors that no longer serve you? So, standing in front of the refrigerator, looking at the light, right, as it glows, that beautiful glow, and, thinking about food, replacing the loneliness. What is it that you can do in your life to really bring you to a place in which you're, having an opportunity to connect to the water? One of the practices that I do is I will take a cold shower. And let me tell you, if you want to be in relationship with the water, take a really cold shower, as cold as you can get it. Get in there and just feel the water. You're going to feel that sensation instantly as soon as you put your head under there. That water is going to be present in your life. It's going to be such an amazing relationship that it might take your breath away. And you're going to have to connect to air. You're going to have to really feel into that moment, become present with the water. This is another way that I can switch my mood. If I'm starting to feel depressed, if I'm starting to feel anxious in my life, what are some habits that I can create to get me motivated, to get me out there and begin to live life in a relational, abundant way? Because I know that's the plan that the Creator has for me. I know that the Creator has a plan for me to live a good life, to be free from financial insecurities, to be free from the insecurities of my health, to be free from the insecurities of my relationship, and to live and walk in beauty. And that's another practice that we can incorporate that is an elemental practice into our life, taking a shower with intention. Even if it's a warm shower, what are you doing in that practice when you're connecting to the water? Are you giving thanks for the water? Are you saying, thank you, water, for cleansing my mind of these thoughts that no longer serve me?
Washing off everything.
Exactly. When we go and we work in a psychiatric institution, we work in a memory care, skilled nursing, or even in a drug treatment facility. We just recently did a smudge for a few men that were leaving the workshop that we were facilitating at a Native American rehabilitation facility. And when I got home, the smudge is a representation of the earth, the air, the water, the fire. All of it is present right there in that smudge. And I was utilizing that, and I can tell you, I felt like, some heaviness come forward, real dense energy. And what did I do when I came home? First thing I did, wash myself, take that water. Thank you, water, for cleansing me.
It's a really powerful thing to do. Like, no matter what's going on in my life, even if I feel nauseous, if I feel stress, if I feel any kind of way that I don't want to feel, getting in the shower and washing it off.
Mm-hmm. And throughout history, we can see that earth-based communities, right? Why was it that Jesus, when he came out of the water, the Holy Spirit fell on him? Why is it that in Islam, they wash their hands before they pray? In the Ethiopian tradition, before you come into a house, your feet, your hands are washed. These things are a part of our communities since the very dawn of cultural identity. We've had a way of connecting to the air, the water, the fire, the earth, and utilizing that relationship to cleanse, to help us live abundantly and to bring us back into that awesome alignment of what it means to be in optimal health.
To feel new again.
Yeah, to feel new, to feel refreshed, to have that place in which I say, oh, the old is washed away. When we go into Sweat Lodge and the water comes in, there's a proclamation. The water of life is here. It's like, hey, your grandma's here. Your relative is here. Watch what you say. Be aware. The water of life is present. Let's all mind our P's and Q's here. We're in the presence of holiness. And guess what? Every single time that you're in that presence of holiness with the water, you have that opportunity to incorporate your own spiritual and ceremonial practices into your life.
Another practice that we both have is drinking the water intentionally. Thinking a good thought, thinking it's going to go into all my cells and give me hydration. I'm going to feel good. I'm going to feel better. Thinking thoughts of love or peace, or really grounding in. For me, I really ground into the earth. I feel my feet on the earth, think about my connection to the earth, and take a big drink of water and think a good thought about the water, because water has memory.
For sure. Holding that cup of water in your hands and saying love and gratitude, love and gratitude, love and beauty, and then drinking it down. Dr. Matsumoto, the images in water, these are practices that have been scientifically researched to show us that our cognitive connection, the way we think about the water, changes the structure of the water.
The water carries the energy that we're putting on it.
So powerful. So spontaneous healing, right? We've all witnessed or heard about somebody being prayed over and having them heal. What is it that's healing? What structures are changing in their life? What energy is changing? This is our connection to the elements. The water structure inside of our blood, inside of our tissues is changing when the individuals put their hands on you and they pray and they impart that cognitive, energetic impartation to you. This is also can be relevant in the way we look at the rivers, in the way we look at the ocean. Yeah, go ahead.
Just from a pragmatic perspective, a very basic understanding without the energy of the water, Dr. Matsumoto, what feels better when you take a glass of water and say, I hate drinking water. It has no flavor. It's not good. Or when you take a drink of water and think about how it's nourishing your body.
There it is again, the relationship with the water. And this is where, we really come into that place of sovereignty. Your relationship and the way you view things in your life, that's your choice. Mm-hmm. That's totally your choice. If you want to believe the conspiracy theories, if you want to believe all the distortion and the separation out there, believe me, there's somebody that will say yes to that. There's somebody that will say, yes, the earth is dying, the earth is crumbling, all of these things. There are people that will say yes to you in that relationship. And there's also people that are going to say, hey, look at the earth with beauty. She's transforming, yes. And she's also transforming in a way that serves her purpose. She is going to live out her beauty as best as she can, just like all of us. When I go to a place and I look at the river and there's some trash or something like that, instinctually I think to myself, oh man, it's dirty, right? I don't like that. I don't like what I see. But am I going to speak that to the water? Am I going to speak that to the earth? Or am I just going to do my best to clean up? If your grandma came to dinner and she had a little bit of lipstick smeared on her face, would you look at her and say, Grandma, you're so ugly? How dare you do that? That's disgusting. Look at you. You're filthy. But this is how we look at the earth. And guess what? We're the ones that smeared Grandma's lipstick. It's your brothers, your sisters, your spiritual relatives that left that trash there. And yes, we could get angry, but who are we going to get angry at? Are we going to get angry at the earth? Are we going to tell the earth that she's ugly? Or are we going to say to ourselves, you know what? The people need to learn. The people are perishing here because they're not living in relationship. Would they go to their grandma's house and trash it up like that? I think not. Maybe they would. We don't know really, right? But what we do know is we could do our best to see the beauty in Mother Earth and to see the beauty in all of our relations and to also clean up if we can as well, to make sure that we're living our best life, and that's going to help us all live in abundant relationship with the air, the water, the fire, the earth, with gravity, with time, with spirit. So I would like to thank you all for tuning in today and sharing a little bit with us about Grandfather North. This is our practice of the Sacred Seven. When we call in Grandfather North, we're reminded of our relationship to the elements. And the relationship we have to the elements, remember, is relational. It's not like perfect. That's an illusion. Every relationship, mine and Monica's relationship, we have to work on it. We have to work on our relationship. We have to show up in our relationship in order for our relationship to be successful. How are you showing up in your relationship to the elements?
How are you consciously connecting?
Exactly.
I feel like we could speak for an hour or two on our practices with the elements.
Oh, easily. Easily.
We didn't even get to the fire.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a tremendous amount of connecting that we consciously do on a daily basis with the elements.
For the solstice ceremony that we just participated in, Monica made this beautiful fireplace. And what's a fireplace? It's not just, brick and mortar and stone in your living room. A fireplace is anywhere you go to the fire. And she took sun-dried sunflowers and she placed them all around the base of it. And she put roses and candles and all kinds of different herbs and oranges and just different things inside of this beautiful display of ceremony, of intention. Ceremony is intentional space that we create in our lives, that we incorporate our hearts, our minds, our earth connection.
Conscious connection.
Yeah. And as we sat with that fire, the beauty of that fire just illuminated. And even the pictures that were taken, there were pictures of orbs all around Monica. It was as if the elementals were showing themselves to her. We're saying, hey, look at me. I'm blessing you right now. Look how you bless the fire. Look what I'll do for you. I'll bless you. And this is how we can continue to be in the earth-based knowledge system.
I think they liked the sweets.
Maybe.
I put some candy in there.
Yeah.
My friend Amy said that if when you're doing that, to offer something to the ancestors, that they like sweets. So I went ahead and just put a little bit of candy in there just in case, and then the orbs.
Yeah, it's great. So these are ways that you can incorporate these spiritual practices into your own life. Hey, send some comments here. Let's hear how you're incorporating your elemental relationship into your life.
I would love to hear your practices.
Yeah. If there's something that you have done this week, take that water, hold the water, say I love you to it over and over again, drink it down, wash yourself in the water, build a fire in your backyard in an intentional way, use your smudge in an intentional way. What is your practice? Please leave us some comments. Let us know. We want to incorporate our offerings and our teachings into your life and vice versa. We're building a community here with Sacred Seven, and you're a perfect seven. Every single one of you joining us here are perfect sevens. You've made it, and you're the one we've been waiting for. Thank you so much for joining us. And I hope you got something from this. Please share the message on the podcast or on the YouTube channel or here on Facebook, wherever you'd like. We want you to know that we're grateful for you being a part of this awesome community. So I'll go ahead and put some cedar down here for us, or actually it's more than cedar this week. And we'll go ahead and bless us out of the space. Is there anything else you'd like to share before we go?
I think
You're good?
I mean, I could, like I said, I could share for a long time about my practices, just, watching the wind blow through the trees and breathing in the energy of that, and that really feeling like it gives me additional energy and a boost, and watching the sunrise or the sunset, or when we're on our paddle boards, I'll just sit on the paddleboard and just watch the waves and the sun on the waves and meditate to that until I feel like I'm in a completely different space. I mean, I just have so many practices that I could share, but we're not here for 4 hours. So.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So Father, Mother, Creator, Source, we thank you for this opportunity. We pray your blessing over the community and all those that have tuned in to hear this amazing podcast here, or this amazing message. of connecting to the elements. I thank you for Monica's insight, for our relationship, and for all the beauty that you show us in the air, the water, the fire, the earth, gravity, time, and the Spirit living in us, the Holy Spirit. And we pray that you would continue to bless us in that good way, continue to expand our relationships. Show us the path that we are on is a beautiful path. Release us from the insecurities and help us to live in the abundance of sovereignty. Beauty above, beauty below, beauty beside, beauty in front, beauty behind, beauty within. I am, we are made beautiful again. Blessings to you, relatives. Thank you so much for tuning in today, and have a great one. And we'll see you back here soon.